We're at the 1 to 4 family contract, and we are filling in the broker information here. When you're submitting a contract, this is from the buyer to the seller. Make sure this is all filled out. So you're going to put all of your information here. This is your brokerage firm. Ours is Realty Advantage, brokerage firm's license number. We are only representing the buyer. So that's where I would check this off. And then whoever the agent is submitting the offer, in this case, if I'm submitting the offer, I'm going to put my name and my license number there. I'm not on a team. If you're on a team, you would put your team name here. And then my contact information, my email, my phone number, so the other agent can get a hold of me. Now my supervisor goes here. In this case, my supervisor is Molly Warhite. Her information would go here and her license number would go there. And then this is the office address. So this is our office address and our office phone number. Make sure you completely fill that out. Now on the other side, when you're submitting the offer, fill in the listing agent's information. In this case, we're only representing the buyer. They're only representing the seller. Fill this out completely. And the reason you want to fill this out completely is if I can get the other agent to like me, then they're more likely to negotiate with me, right? I might be able to get better terms. They might be nicer about it. I never want to create conflict with the other party, with the other agent, because we working together are going to get this deal done. If I submit this without this filled out, now the other agent has to take this, put it into their system and start filling out stuff. And that takes time and that could be a little aggravating. I know when I get an offer and this part's not filled out, my initial thought is that other agent's lazy, right? So fill this out completely. So how do we do that? Well, let's go to the MLS. I found this listing here, right? This agent did a pretty good job, right, with stuff. I want to go down here. Actually, yeah, so I'll go down here. Here's the agent. Here's some information, but I'm first going to go to additional information. And you should have a bunch of information like this. This agent did a really good job. I might even send her an email and tell her that. But look right here, we have offer instructions. So I'm going to click on the offer instructions. This agent did a really good job of telling you if you want to submit an offer on this property, here's how you do it. Great, right? Down here is please fill out page 10 of the contract with the following information. So here's all the information that I need in order to fill out the broker information form. That makes my job easier. Now, I like this listing agent because they made it easy to put the stuff in here, right? Now, why is the listing agent, again, asking us to please fill out with this information? Because it's a pain when you receive an offer to then have to go in there, upload it into your system and fill this out, or print it out and fill it out. So you as the buyer's agent, fill this out for the listing agent. Now, if they don't have that information, then you can also go here. The agent is Tiffany Stevens, so I have her name, her license number, and her email address, so I can put that on here, okay? Now, what about the broker? Well, here's Forward Real Estate. I don't have a license number, but I do have the phone number and their email address if I need that. I'm going to click on Tiffany. When I click on Tiffany, here's Tiffany Stevens, her email address and such, her license number, but here's the broker ID. So the broker ID I have right there, 504-489. I have the office address right there. Yeah, I don't have the broker's name, but I do have the name of the company, which is Forward Real Estate right here. So again, I can take all that information and put it right here. That's everything that I need. I don't have the licensed supervisor. I could possibly find that out. Let me click back on this. I could possibly find that out. Let's see if I click on Forward Real Estate. I don't think it's going to have the broker name there. Actually, what was that one? This licensed supervisor. So if I leave that blank, I'm okay with that if they didn't give that to me. I was hoping to get the broker's name here, but I don't get the broker's name. I could go and look that up, but I should have pretty much everything right here. Those are the assistants, not the broker. Now, broker ID 504-489. Let's just copy that, because if she doesn't give me that, let's put the broker's name on here. I'm going to go to the TREC website. And in the TREC website, I'm going to put in the license number. I would go ahead and do this, right? So this is Katie Kossev, and her license number is 504489. And that's who I would put there. I would put Katie Kossev, and I would put this license number there as the license supervisor. So I would put that information here, license supervisor and their license number, right? But fill that out, take that extra step because they didn't give us that information, but we took an extra step and did that. That listing agent is going to think, man, I like this agent. They filled everything out. They even went the extra step and put my supervisor's name on there, which I didn't give them. And then they're going to like you and then submit it. Okay. Now you as the listing agent should have all that information just like this agent did, right? You should have that, all of that in offer instructions for your listing to make their job easier, right? And then submit it. Now there's a caveat to this, right? Because what if, and this isn't there, we're not going to be doing that anymore, but there might be another one here where we're seller and buyer as intermediary. Right. So this might be if I'm submitting an offer on another agent's listing in my office, that means that we have to act in an intermediary capacity. The listing agents would still go here, but then the selling agent, which would be me in this case, would go here. So if we are seller, if we represent both the seller and the buyer as intermediary, we check this off. A listing firm is the same because we're in the same firm. Listing information goes on top, seller's information goes on the bottom, and fill it out completely. Okay. Down here, this paragraph right here, again, is just information. This is not part of the contract. This does not guarantee you're getting paid. But what this says is pursuant to previous separate agreement, listing broker has agreed to pay other broker a fee of. So whatever you all have agreed to, that's going to go here. That agreement is going to be in a separate form. So this would be in another form, which is here. So this is the compensation agreement between brokers. If whenever we're submitting an offer, we're going to call the listing agent, ask them some questions. What would be a good offer for their seller? Are there certain things that they're looking for in the offer as far as closing dates, as far as is there anything in here, seller lease back? What are they looking for in the offer that would make our offer more amenable to them, right? And then I'm going to ask, are you guys offering compensation to the buyer's broker? And they're either going to say yes or no. If they say yes, I'm going to say, great. Who's paying it? Is the listing broker paying it or is the seller paying it? If it's the listing broker, then I'm going to use this form. I'm going to send this over to the listing agent and have them sign it because I'm also going to ask how much is the compensation? And that's the amount I'm going to put here. If it's less than what I have agreed to with my buyer, then I'm going to put the amount I agree to with my buyer on here, and I'm going to send that over and try and get that signed. If not, we'll get into that later, right? Let's just assume we're good there. Then I'll put the amount there. I will sign it as the cooperating broker. The buyer's agent is the cooperating broker. And then I want to get it signed by the listing broker here. If you want to protect your commission, this has to be signed and in place before we submit the contract. Okay. If you're getting pushback on that, go see your broker. Okay. And use your best judgment when it comes to that. But this is the form. Whatever's on this form is what's going to go here. If we agreed to 3%, we'll put 3% there. If we agreed to 2%, we'll put 2% there, or a flat fee if that's what it is. But again, this is just information. This does not guarantee you're going to get paid this unless you have this form in place. Okay, make sure you understand that. Now, if the seller is paying the compensation, then we go back to paragraph 12A1B and we'll put in there that the seller is paying the compensation. All right. And then here is the option fee receipt. Once we turn it into the title company or the escrow agent, they're going to receive monies for the option fee and receive monies for the earnest and receipt the contract. This will be filled out. Make sure you have that information. Once the title company receives the earnest money and receives the contract, at that point, the 20-day starts for the title company. But remember, this sometimes is not going to match the execution date. The execution date is the date all parties come to agreement. The receipt date is the date the title company receives the contract. All right, so that completes the 1 to 4 family contract. As you're going through this, if you have questions, please get with your broker, get with me, and let's get those things done.